All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Royalty Trace. Appreciate everybody for tapping in with the Kingdom Podcast. Um, let's see how many people we got before we just start rambling on about the market. There's so much that we can go on and talk about. Got 8 people. All
One of the eight people lurking in there.
right. Well, as people start to trickle in, first thing I want to let everybody know that none of us that's on this stream we aren't financial advisors. So anything that we mention or that we have interest in, you probably want to do your own due diligence or consult some actual financial advice. We just do this because this is just what we enjoy doing in our spare time. So if you're looking to invest your hard-earned cash in any of these companies that you see us talk about this afternoon, please do your thorough research because you just don't want to throw away hard earned money that you work for without doing the proper research. So definitely um, check that out. And from there, I got new fish big pond with me this afternoon. I got M Finance, Fridge Financials, and I got Perunga. What's up with y'all, man? Hey,
Hey everybody, how we doing? New Fish Big Pond here. Happy to be here today.
what's up? What's up?
What's up, guys? Fish for Angels, back for another one.
And I think Michael was cooking.
Well,
So I think he tapped in on that.
I am. I went to mute myself for a minute, but hi there. Yep, Michael.
Cool. All right then. Well, uh, last week we seen a pretty steady uptrend in the market. I'm not gonna say that I was shocked, but it definitely caught me off guard the way that the market trade like continued to trade to the upside last week. Um, but it's always money to be made. And I think they kind of forced it last week, especially since we had kind of a short week and all. But did any of you guys see anything that kind of piqued your interest in the market or whatnot?
So I thought it was really interesting how everybody was just waiting for the big beautiful bill to pass, and I thought that everybody, waiting for all the data to come out was really interesting as well. The biggest surprise for me of the week was Hood. Hood just went sort of parabolic, right? And then had a retracement, but I didn't expect it to go as high as it did. That was kind of crazy for me.
I think Hood just
Yeah, I would agree with the Hood, honestly. I mean, I listened to Vlad a little bit about that. So it was definitely everybody loved the optimism, I think, of Hood overall with the tokenization aspect of things. And, I think Vlad did a great job, the CEO. They're pulling out all these new things like every week, I feel like. So I think it's an amazing job what they're doing with and the innovation to keep pushing things further and further. I think is what's going to make them a really good company.
I think Bull was running and they just got upset, Hood owners. No, I'm kidding.
And I mean, honestly, I like Hood. Hood to me is probably one of those stocks that it kind of moves like Palantir to me. Like you just don't know when it's gonna give you that pullback that you just really waiting on. Like it's either get in now and just stay for the ride, or miss out on the market movements. So, um, like as of right now, Hood look
I
like
mean, if you look at Hood 3 months, I just want to say, if you look at Hood 3 months ago, it was at $35, y'all.
yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
12. I mean,
I don't,
yeah,
and I'm gonna say I completely missed out. I
You
didn't
know,
expect
it is
Hood to have
crazy.
this
I
massive
don't
rally like
honestly
this.
know what it's fully based on.
Like it's been pushing $94,
I mean,
but it's trying to make a
that's
move even higher towards like this 126 level. But me personally, like I think if you hop in around the $80 level, you can ride this thing all the way back up. I think any dip on Hood right now is a good pretty dip to buy for the most part.
I was expecting Hood to be 100 to 125 by the end of the year.
Yeah. I personally don't really see fully what it's based on, but that's just me.
But you know what's interesting about Hood is that like you watch it rise and it hit that $100 strike price or that $100 price, and then it just couldn't break. It's almost like I feel like it's a psychological level of it could not break $100 for a reason. It barely broke above it, and now it's back down to 94, which I think is really interesting. So I'm wondering if people don't see it being quite that $100 stock yet. I think also the problem they had recently was that you had OpenAI come out like a day after being like, we're not partnered with Robinhood. I don't know what he's talking about. And I think that kind of put some fears and like maybe they're just in over their head with this private equity potential and stuff like that. So if Robinhood can find a way to put investments for retail investors, that's going to be a whole new market to push them way past $100, in my opinion.
I'll agree with you on that.
I like that. I like
But
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think an idiot would disagree with you. So it's you don't
I
go
think the
against the
biggest-
momentum, and that stock has
Yeah.
it, man. That's
I think the biggest problem they're going to have is that there's so much regulation and SEC filing, paperwork compliance, and like everything get right for this. I think that's why they introduced it, but it might still be like months away before they can actually roll it out to people in the US. Like they could do it in Europe because they have a different filing and they have different regulations over in Europe compared to here. I think that they do a lot more paperwork and a lot more filings to make sure everything is airtight and sealed. So that way, this can roll out to be a way to make it better. I think it's going to take some time to roll it out, but once they start to see it, if you're telling me that I can invest in private equity without having to be an accredited investor, which you need like a 7-figure net worth to be able to consider to be an accredited investor. If you can give me access to private equity without having to have that investment background, that's going to just be a huge thing for Robinhood overall. You know, you look at how they've already started putting in gambling. You could bet on interest rates. You could bet on, sports team winnings. You could bet on how many hot dogs Joey Chestnut ate on Friday. Like they just keep rolling out things, and they make the most amount of money is through just having people log into their platform and swiping up on stocks, on anything that people are buying and selling. Robinhood is getting a rebate on that, and that's where they're making the money. So if they can keep pulling out more and more things to get more users on the platform, that's where a lot of their money is going to be made, and they can be easily over $100. So that's where I think it will be at.
So I think for that, what they need, I think that next catalyst, or maybe not the next catalyst, but a portion of it, they need to be able to get individual games for football season. That's what they're going to need. As of right now, the way that they've been doing sports games, it's that you can bet on, championships pretty much, or, semifinals. But you can't bet on, week one of NFL or preseason NFL, you know what I mean? Or preseason MLB or anything like that, So I think if they can conquer that hurdle, that will be a huge moneymaker for them, and that will greatly increase the share price.
Yeah, but also think about like what's always is so amazing is that it's like you hear them talk about sports betting and you can buy it and you can bet on this and bet on that. It's like at the end of the day, think about it. That's got to be such a small portion of how much money they're making because they're a brokerage first app.
Right,
like they're a brokerage first company, which is crazy to me still. But
Fridge, the added value beyond their cut of the gambling, the added value is that you have people coming back to Robinhood on Sunday. You have people coming back to Robinhood on Saturday. So now Robinhood has gone from a 5-day-a-week app. It's now turned to a 7-day-a-week app. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just constantly going to Robinhood. That's the only thing on my mind when I pick up my phone and I want to do anything like we'll call it investment related. The only thing that I think of is Robinhood.
Bro,
And I think
Robinhood
that's a
gonna be a
great
bank after
idea
a
as for
while.
the company.
What's
Sorry,
up,
go ahead.
royalty?
I said Robinhood is gonna turn out to be a bank after a while. Everybody's money is gonna
Yeah.
be tied up in the Robinhood.
Yeah, they're doing mortgages. They're gonna be doing mortgages at some point in the future, which is like just wild. Like a brokerage app that does brokerage, that does, you could do a mortgage through them. You could do sports betting through them. You could.
The old credit card. I just don't want another credit card right now. But
I'm
yeah,
on the wait. I'm on the wait list for them. I'm waiting for mine, dude. I would love to get a Robinhood Gold credit card. Honestly, I'm waiting for it. But like, they're doing like everything right. They're doing it all in a way. And it's like you look at what they were at years ago, where they were like bad with security, bad with this, bad with that. Like they got a lot of stick for the GameStop saga back in 2019 or 2020, whatever it is. Like you look at where they're at from then to now. Like they must have brought somebody in. I don't know who it is, but they brought somebody in who was like, let me show you how to push this to the next level, because every idea they've had recently has been an amazing idea. I can't find a fault in a lot of their ideas they've come out with recently. I just can't.
agreed.
So
And I know
I
that.
will. Yeah.
what
No,
do
go
you
ahead,
Go
dude.
ahead,
think
Virgil.
about Bull?
I was just saying, I still am a little skeptical. I don't know why, but that's just me.
I was gonna ask you guys,
Michael, that's you.
do y'all think
Yeah.
Weeble can turn into another Robinhood type stock?
Yeah, I mean, I'm bullish on it. I love the platform. Absolutely. I mean, not the mobile version is not nearly as good. I'll concede that any day of the week, but their desktop platform has become second to none. I mean, fish learn quick if you're a day trader that having 4 a.m. pre-market is
Ooh,
very important, both news-wise and being able to buy stuff. Like I made a post a few weeks ago, I was crying. It was so much what I. Yep. That was pretty much when he switched over. So yeah, and the warrants they're done. I mean, it's done. So, and it did nothing but go up right away. So.
Yeah, being
I
able
like them. I mean, it's a Chinese company, yes, but the product itself is awesome.
being able to trade at 4 a.m. was an absolute game changer for me. I mean,
Yep. The voice quote too, being able to get that while I'm out and about, it updating me on Nvidia price or whatever every 90 seconds if I want it. It just
I must say though, like with Weeble, like what I have liked, I have Weeble also. What I like about it is the platform is great, the mobile app is good. I like also like when you can like how you can set up like your stop loss and take profits and stuff like that. To me, on
Right on the
Weeble
chart.
has been so much easier than doing on Robinhood. So I think that's what they have that's really, really good. And I think obviously being able to know how to set your take profit and stop loss is obviously a huge deal for traders to make money and not lose as much as they want to. So the fact that they have that going for them is definitely a huge benefit. As long as they don't get lost and they don't get like super shadowed by Robinhood. They keep innovating and putting out new things. Like I remember when I first had Weeble, they were just like, share this with somebody, you get 10 shares of whatever, valued at $60 minimum, whatever. And I was like, dang, dude, like Robinhood was like, here's $5. Good luck. Have fun with your $5 shares you usually get, and that was it. And Weeble was out here throwing money at people, like $60 to $100, easy. Here you go. Thanks for the referral. Like, so I think if Weeble can keep being innovative as well and not fall way, way behind on how Robinhood's innovating, I think Weeble is a good contender still overall. I like their platform.
And to me, if it were me running there, I would just, I would be targeting a completely different audience, targeting day traders on laptop, that want 3 monitors and charts and, that I would just target that person, even if it's a smaller market, because they already are doing it great and just do it the best. I think that's how you compete. Let Robinhood be the best mobile and for the gamblers and stuff like that. I think Weeble has the potential to be the one for the professionals, I guess.
Y'all,
I can see that.
And I'm not taking anything away from you guys that trade on. I did not think professionals. You know what I mean? I'm just the nerds who like a lot of monitors and chart. I can do everything in there for free now too that I don't need TradingView for and stuff like that. So.
Now, one thing that I'll say is that, so what I noticed is Robinhood changed their layout of their chart, and they have it as that advanced button down there in the right corner there. Yeah. So I noticed that, but I noticed that it seems like it's modeled after Weeble. And the interesting thing is that I like the function of the Weeble one a little bit better, but the look, the layout, and the UI of the Robinhood one is more pleasing. And so I prefer to use that one.
And it's always going to be like they got the best Mac or Apple UI developers, and I swear that's what they got in. I mean, their UI is always going to be, I feel like. But like, and I didn't get to see who was talking, but the functionality, like being able to drag stop losses up a chart, and I can, easily see where the EMA is and put my stop loss. Yeah, I don't know, being able to set it that way rather than having to type numbers in and stuff like that. I really like that functionality.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys see that Weeble has that option where you can they have a virtual assistant attached right to it also, which is pretty cool. So you can just ask them provide your latest stock price of this, latest stock price of that, view the latest technical analysis of this. It's right on the actual app itself. I don't think Robinhood has anything integrated like that though yet. So Weeble has that. They have a nice virtual assistant attached right at the app. I think that's pretty cool too.
So, and does Robinhood have a feed, like a community feed on stocks, similar to what After Hour has? Because Weeble does have one of those too, and I really enjoy that as well.
I don't think so.
I don't
really.
think Robinhood has that.
No,
I've never seen that at all.
And you can reach out to support and they'll help you out, but you have to go through some of the menus.
Oh no, I can post this like I would on After Hour. That it more looks like stock twits than it does After Hour.
Yeah.
But it does have at least a community feed in there where I can see what other people are feeling about it, at least in the last couple of days. You know what I mean? Just
and people put their charts and stuff like that. Yeah, no, Robinhood has none of that. Not at all. It's you by yourself and the support team. And that's it. You can talk to them, and that's it.
See, and pre-market, I've learned some people that are actually successful, some usernames rather to look out for, and some to completely ignore. And when I see them there, I know to run away. So that for me is just information. So
I like going into that with an extent, because if some people are very on it, where 8:30 data comes out and they're dropping it on SPY ticker so quick, where it's if I don't want to go looking for the data myself or reading more into it, there's some people who are very knowledgeable who read into it and they put the whole post out 8:31. So if I really don't feel like reading into it and looking for it myself, they'll put it there. So it is really good to see what people are writing. The thing, like you said, is that you have to be wary about what people are posting, what people are saying are profits and versus losses. Just anywhere in social media, on Reddit, on After Hours, anywhere, is making sure that people who are posting things are legit posting, not just taking it from somebody else, just making up numbers and doing whatever they want, But it's a cool feature to have, though.
Yeah, it's if you're, I mean, not just After Hour, but everywhere, trust but verify. So if it's not someone that you have dealt with before, that you followed, you know what I mean, that you believe, that that you trust, you have to do your due diligence. But after a while, you start knowing who you can trust. And then you're like, oh, cool, this person said it, so I know it's good.
Yeah, and sorry, and I didn't mean for that to be a rabbit hole.
I will say that
it's just more like it does have some features, that are unique to it. Futures are in there as well.
Yeah.
So
one thing is, there's some people that are so that community is just so rude. A lot of people they'll just be you're an idiot. What are you talking about? We're an idiot. Shut the heck up. They're just so rude. I'm just you have exactly where the price is gonna go. Calm down here, guys. We're all here to learn, but people post they'll post a really good chart and it looks very, very clean. It's a very nice setup. It makes a lot of sense. And then the minute that go their way, it's 8 people commenting, "You're an idiot. You're stupid. What are you talking about?" I'm dude, nobody knows what the market's gonna do. At least they're trying to put themselves out there as some ideas to think about, So.
Oh my gosh, you're right. But hey, let's get back to the charts. Speaking of charts, let's get back to them.
Nah, it's all good.
Let's get back to the charts.
Everybody knows my mic's low, so I'm trying to get that figured out. But in the meantime, y'all just gonna have to hold it down for majority of the show, and I'm just gonna have to do the chart since I am having mic issues.
Okay.
This afternoon. So
you sound good now.
Oh, I sound good now.
So
yeah, you sound good now.
I've been talking about fish mic so long, it's rubbing off on me. So
how the turns table.
Economic activity. Fred, you got anything that stuck out last week as far as the economic activity went?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see how the jobs data came out last week. We had a negative private payroll on, I think, Wednesday. And then we get, like, everyone's like, oh, what's going to happen for Thursday? How bad is the job report going to be on Thursday? And then it comes in higher than expected and stuff like that. And people are just like, what the heck? And what's interesting with the job market is obviously I look more into the data. So service level is a good start, but you got to read more into, like, who's getting hired from the federal level versus the state and local level for government jobs and stuff like that. But if you watch the interest rate cut prediction, it tanked for July, because it's further, like, this data points, the data points we got last week are just fueling Jerome Powell's theory, and it just makes him just feel like, he's got the biggest thing in the room right now. Like, he's walking around like he knows it all, because he's very intelligent. He goes, dude, look, we can keep waiting. Labor market is strong. It comes in better than expected. We're still having job creation. We're still doing all these different things here. And the interest rates crash. They were at 25%. Now, there was a 25% chance of a rate cut in July, which was still very unlikely. It went from 25% down to 5%. In like one day, in one weekend, because the jobs data came in so much better than expected for the market. And I think also rate cuts the probability also dropped for September from like 80% down to like 60 something percent or whatever. I don't remember the exact numbers, but the data just showed that Jerome Powell can just keep waiting on his hands and it's no big deal. He's gonna keep waiting. They're expecting a hot inflationary number in the July maybe, or for June and stuff like that. I don't really know, but he just says, "Look, I can just keep sitting here and waiting because their jobs is holding it up strong as an economy overall." And then that's kind of what led up to the markets having a nice little end of the week rally. I think was because the jobs data was great. I don't know if there's anything else that was a really crazy data point from last week that I can remember. I could take a look and see. I know there's not a lot this week, which is actually kind of nice. We get a nice little refreshment coming back into this week because there's no crazy data. There's initial jobless claim stuff, but that's no big deal, as we can kind of tell. Jerome Powell spoke at the conference last week, talking about there's no chance, there's a possibility of having a rate cut, really, but not really in July. JOLTS data came in better than expected, which is amazing for the jobs data. And again, people freaked out about the private ones, but then rather than that, it was everything else came in pretty okay. I gotta look more into the data though for the hirings and kind of see more, because obviously there's more than meets the eye for that one. But the Atlanta Fed GDP is 2.6% projected now for this quarter, which is good. I thought it'd be higher because of a huge whiplash from quarter one, but it's just it's a crazy thing right now. Yeah, too early to rate cut, as Swing says. Too early for a rate cut. I completely could. Right. Yeah, so there's a full point rate cut hood bet. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know about you guys think about the data, but it was pretty interesting to watch.
Fridge, I want to touch.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Royalty.
You said something about Liberation Day 2.0.
Well, so Liberation. Well, we got a couple of things we can talk about here. We'll go there. Just to touch on the interest rates thing. Thursday, I was watching. So when I trade, I also have CNBC on in the background a lot, and I saw there was an interview with Atlanta Chair Fed Bostic that was on, and one of the little chirons that I saw at the bottom is that the Fed chair was hinting they may not cut this year. The Atlanta Fed chair was hinting they may not cut this year. Yeah,
there's an article about Morgan Stanley, who they are saying that they're not going to get the first cut for interest rates until March of 2026. Yeah, and then they're going to cut like 6 times next year, which is ridiculous in my opinion. Still, I think it's way too, like, cutting 6 times in a year is that's insane. You're looking at least, again, if you did 0.25 cuts every time, you're looking at almost 2 percentage points there. You're looking at 1.5, 2 percentage points there. But all that from March to December is wild. I mean, the interest rate predictions right now, we're looking at having 1, 2, 2 cuts this year and then having 3 or 4 next year is what we're looking at from what I see in the data. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, dude, you're talking about no cuts? Like, because there's pressure coming from Fed Waller and another federal lady, I forgot what her name is, who was just like, let's cut in July and just see what happens. And I'm honestly not against that. Yeah, I'm not against a cut in July. I just want to see what happens. If inflation ticks back up, okay, stop. Don't touch it anymore. Okay, let's pump the brakes. Let's relax. And then just kind of play it by ear. But, inflation is lower than expected. I know we talked about this last week on the podcast. Like, we keep waiting, keep delaying it over and over again. Like I think he just wants to. People just want him to drop like something and do something about it. But I don't know what's going to be happening at this point. But people talk about the risk of stagflation. I know Swingy and Josh talk about no cuts and inflation and stuff like that and stagflation. It's a fine line we're walking right now, but. I don't know what the ideal situation is. If I knew what to do as a federal chair, I probably would be somewhere else for a job right now. If I could predict that accurately, it's a tough. I was hoping that if jobs data came in so weak last week, I was been like, okay, we're gonna rate cut in July. But with the strong data, Jerome Powell could just keep waiting, and we're just going to keep seeing that happening. Now, I saw an article or an interview this morning about they're talking about interviewing. They're talking about like who the replacement will be for the Fed chair for when Jerome Powell's done, and people are speculating that they're thinking about trying to throw that news out there to try to just put more discredibility on Jerome Powell. That we're already going to get your replacement, dude. Don't whatever you say, nobody cares. We already got a replacement lined up for you. So people are starting to speculate that that's why they're talking about the Fed replacement already. I don't know what you guys think, but it's wild, man. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know how to be a Fed chair. It's a crazy job.
Look, the Fed chair has this job. He can't go anywhere. He's not going anywhere unless he wants to go anywhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere. And at this point, he certainly won't go anywhere out of spite. We all know that, right? The man is steadfast in his ways.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about that. Can I touch on Liberation Day 2.0 real quick?
Yeah,
feel free.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Liberation Day 2.0. This morning, I put something out in the alert in my alerts channel in the Kingdom, and hey guys, guess what? Things change. Things change. So it was supposed to be Liberation Day 2.0 was going to be on July 9th, which was Wednesday. And that was going to be when the 90-day pause on tariffs expired. And so we were supposed to go right back to the same situation we were in 90 days ago. Well, this morning, Treasury Secretary Besson was doing the rounds, I guess. And he said that he said, quote, countries that do not make a deal with the U.S. by August 1st will have tariffs. Okay.
So they
all right, by August 1st. So now that means that exactly. That means that your Liberation Day 2.0 has been moved from July 9th to August 1st.
So they get a market a little bit more time to run.
Right. They are at all-time highs right now. We want to continue that, right? We want to continue the market to make the market look good, make the economy look good as well. Especially if people think that we're heading for a correction. Let's let it shine while we can.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, even if he was to say, hey, like tariffs we're giving you a 30% tariff, I think it's one of those things where it's like what he did before, where he was like starting August 1st. So he could come out this week and say, hey, Japan's getting this tariff right here, but it kicks in August 1st. So even though he's going to announce it, like you're saying, it still is definitively delayed to start probably August 1st.
Well, you see, that's Fridge, that's the thing. What you just said makes 100% sense, right? And I'll be honest, I didn't think of that in that aspect. At the same time, I think we can both be right and both be wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think we can both be right about this because uncertainty is the name of the game here.
Mhm.
Right? Uncertainty
Yeah.
is the name of the game. That's the only thing that we've been able to count on.
I think the market just honestly just wants just a direction. Like, just rip the Band-Aid off, instead of just saying instead of like playing a game of tennis versus back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like let's just move. Let's just push it in one way or the other way. It doesn't matter. You know what? The market comes down, cool. Okay, whatever. At least we know we'll have give us a directions of the uncertainty. But that's what Trump's playing with. That's what they're all playing with. It's just the idea of the uncertainty gives them more time to strike these deals, and then they make a deal, and then he comes off, and then he can put it on True Social or whatever. But it's like you said, it's the uncertainty is going to just keep being here. Just like TikTok. TikTok's not banned still. It's supposed to get banned back in like January. It was banned for like a day, came right back in, and now he's delaying banning it again until who knows when. So it's the same thing. They're going to keep pushing it down the road, just like the deficit, just like the spend. Like they're going to keep pushing everything down the road as much as they possibly can. I feel like at this point.
Hey,
I think it's pushed.
The TikTok ban was crazy. I feel like people were losing their minds for them 24 hours.
Bro, you guys should have been here in my house. Ooh, good Lord. It was not a pleasant 24 hours, and I don't even use the damn app. My wife was up in arms about it, man. They can't do this, blah, 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 blah. Actually, yeah, they can.
Dude, imagine me as a high school math teacher with 30 students every class coming in the day after it. Could you imagine? You can only imagine the scenes that I had to deal with the day afterwards and how many kids were pissed off. They were downloading the whatever that new replacement was for like a week. I forgot what it was. It was a different Chinese social media platform. Yeah, and it was like we're making this account, making this account. Like it was wild.
Whatever it was, yeah, dude, they were all learning. Like the one bonus from it is that the American kids were learning the whatever, either Korean or Chinese, whatever. Whatever. They were learning the language of where the platform was originally sourced. So I thought that was cool. At least the kids were getting educated on it.
Right. Oh, it's Red Envelope, Mr. Freeballer. Thank you. Red Envelope was the name of it.
Beautiful.
Because they were coming in, they were talking about like, I'm downloading Red Envelope. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And like, obviously, like, this is the one nice thing about being a high school teacher. Like, you find out like what's trending, what's coming up, usually through the younger generation. And with me always seeing the younger generation at my job, like, I always can kind of get an idea as to what's coming up, what's trending, whatever. And so they were talking about downloading that new app, and it was like unbelievable. And I was like, "What are you guys like? Do you even know what you're reading?" They were like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, cool, amazing." So. But yeah, it was the same thing where like it was just everything hit the fan. But like what's crazy is that like I forgot that TikTok ban was still supposed to happen, and right now it's just delayed even more. Like I just completely forgot until someone brought it up again like the other day, and I was like, oh, it is banned. I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is banned. Anyways, what did you see on TikTok earlier?
Yeah, right. I couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah. Fucking nuts, man.
That's the thing. If it does get banned, there's just going to be a competitor that comes out. Anyways, doesn't really matter.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
supposed to
that's. Well, there was a thing where I thought it was like Oracle and somebody else, and then like I don't know.
That was to avoid the ban.
Through. Yeah, and then that fell through, and then I thought Trump came out and said that like Oracle, and then like named like two other people should buy it. And then, like, nothing happened there. So, I mean, I think they're trying to make some deal. But here's the whole part about it, guys. Let's not forget. China has to agree to sell the fucking app. That's the thing. They have to agree to sell the app.
I saw there was somebody talking about that they might build a U.S. version.
Now, that I can see.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, we're talking about it. TikTok building a new version of the app ahead of the U.S. app stores. September 5th.
Somebody said app love.
So there's your answer right there.
Oracle.
So that's probably what they're going to do instead. Oh, for buying it? Potentially, yeah. But I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to do a U.S. version instead, and that's going to just make their life easier. So they kick the can down the road long enough for TikTok to still be around, but now it's going to be there's going to be a U.S. Version instead, I guess.
Yeah, that's what they'll most likely end up having to do. You're right.
Which, hey, it makes a lot of sense. And someone made a good point. They're like, well, it's actually going to be good for like Meta and stuff like that, because he was like, how many people are going to delete the app and then get the new app, or they're just going to keep the apps they already have? And what apps they already have? Facebook, maybe Instagram, like WhatsApp or whatever. Like they're probably going to use those apps more because they already have them downloaded. They're not going to maybe go out as much and download a new app. And I was like, all right, I guess it's fair, but yeah, so might be a thing.
Yeah.
Hey,
Don't know
Fluence,
until you know, unfortunately. Yes, sir.
how you feel about MSTR right now?
Dude, I'm loving it, man. I'm sitting here patiently waiting, biding my time. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Yes, it's being shorted by Chanos. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I'm happy about that. It's being shorted as Bitcoin's going up. This is wonderful. Thank you. I love it. This is great. This is not a situation like we had with Citadel. Last October, November, something like that. That's not where we're at right now. I'm very, very comfortable with MicroStrategy. Very comfortable. You want to talk long-term MicroStrategy? I'm even more comfortable. So my thesis on this is that MicroStrategy started as a software company. Whatever. Didn't really do a whole hell of a lot, right? Then they flipped to Bitcoin. Okay, cool. Now we're doing something here. So we're MicroStrategy as Bitcoin. Now we've changed our name recently to Strategy B. All right, and also we've stuck to our thesis. We've kept buying and holding. Bitcoin has kept increasing in value. We've stayed on track. We're doing it right so far. So now we changed our name to Strategy B. And I remember hearing an interview with Michael Saylor, I believe it was in December, where he said that his dream is to become the world's first digital bank. All right. So our name is now Strategy B. I think the next name change is to Strategy Bank. And I saw over the weekend that Peter Thiel is involved in a startup for a digital bank called, I think it's Embor or Arambor or something like that. And so this is not too far-fetched, So I really do believe that that's where MicroStrategy is headed ultimately. As far as short-term, I still think it's a buy at $400. I really do. Guys, I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart right now. We are at 1092. I think we see 110 tomorrow. I really do.
I got 112.
And Bitcoin, you got 112 for tomorrow?
I got one. If we can break out
See?
above this 109.7, then I think I got I got
Right.
112 next.
So 112 will be a huge point. Because the short liquidation point that I had heard for this weekend was 110.5 to 111, and so they were going to keep it under that just to get as much liquidity out as they could before the next leg up. So if you're charting 112, that means that the leg up starts tomorrow.
Long term, by the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bitcoin. I think I sent this to you earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bitcoin at 130.
With all due respect, I believe we go higher.
Then 130.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. Because I believe that we will see a market correction in the second half of this year. As we start seeing that, there's going to be a difference in the M2 money supply lag, which the lag is 42 days, or it's supposed to be about 42 days. And M2 money supply is any assets that are easily convertible to cash. So like, excuse me. So like, anything that you can convert to cash, your checking account, your savings account, any money markets, stocks, anything that's easily converted can all be used to, put under your mattress or buy gold or buy Bitcoin or whatever. So that's called the M2 money supply. As that starts, as the economies start going down, that'll start going up. And that's when you know that economies are crashing, people are scared, they're pulling their monies out of banks. I believe when that happens, people will start putting their money into gold and digital gold, meaning Bitcoin. Now, we are already purchasing more Bitcoin per day than we can mine per day. So there's going to be there's already a supply and demand issue. That issue is just going to compound throughout the year. Again, just my opinion.
Interesting also about like the whole because you also think about it, right? Like we had that huge push up higher because of Circle, because of stable coins and everything else. Like there's a lot more momentum behind crypto in general now because it seems like of the new regulations and stuff like that have been passed recently through like the House and stuff like that. I feel like also new fish, right? So I mean, you get this big momentum play from people that are now like, oh my God, like crypto's becoming a mainstream thing. It's been mainstream for however many years now where people have been talking about it, but not everybody's been talking about it. Everybody believes in it still. I still think it's in the early stages, but with this huge pump, like you see Circle push up, like, I think it was like 200% from IPO because it's a stable coin focus and everything else. You see Robinhood doing tokenization. You have other companies that are trying to do tokenization stuff and make it crypto related. Like, and at the sole, foundation of crypto is Bitcoin, right? So like, it's going to run up with everything else most likely.
Exactly. So, and then you also have to think about all of the companies that have started their crypto treasuries, right? Mm-hmm. So, all right, great. There's already over 100 companies that are publicly traded that have crypto treasuries. As this becomes more normal, more companies are going to jump on board with this, which again puts more strain on the demand. Mm-hmm. Price is going to increase. So, man, oh my God, Royalty, it hurts me to say this. As much as I agree with and love TA, I think we push higher. I really do.
There will be another entry point at some point, though, because with all of that increased stuff you're talking about, the blockchain is not going to be able to handle it in its current form. It's already pretty well known. So when that controversy happens, I would say that would be another great entry time. I'm with you, Fish. I mean, I've been bullish Bitcoin for 11 years now, but it's I don't think it drops below 100 again either. I think that's the most important thing. I think train is leaving.
The days of sub 100 are gone. They are.
Well, and people are going to start to really recognize the utility of the blockchain too. Microsoft, all those companies are starting to do that too, not just the Bitcoin treasuries. They're really utilize blockchain technology. And you said it, that Bitcoin's always going to be, the pioneer of that. It's going to be the gold asset or whatever. All these companies, they're probably going to create better, more efficient blockchains. Yes. And private ones and stuff like that. They're not going to be as decentralized or whatever, but that's the technology that it's going to change the financial world. I mean, you have Fidelity and Weeble like I do, Fisher. What's it like to transfer money from Fidelity to Weeble? You got to have a bank in between. You got to ACH it to that bank, and then you got to send it from that bank to Weeble. I mean, the blockchain itself will change all of it, and it sucks that companies are just realizing it now. You're right, but but do look for a lot more of these companies to create their own blockchains and coins, and not necessarily rely on Bitcoin as much. So there will be, that's when the pause will happen. When that realization comes to.
Right.
But I don't know if it's this year. I think you're right. I mean, for now, it's. I mean, look at all of our Monday morning pre-market runners. They are all because, and what I've realized, it's the ones with the Bitcoin treasury, and the funding has been secured. The ones that are just saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to use this, or we're going to use the blah blah blah." Those are the ones that run up real quick and then they die within an hour. And we watch them just bleed away all day, right? But the ones that have funding secured for that Bitcoin treasury, those are the ones that are running 500%. Was it BMNR last week that I didn't want to talk about because I sold it at 30% and it ran to like 3,000.
Yeah,
it's those ones that are securing funding for those treasuries. Those are really the runners to watch out for, regardless of what kind of swing trading you want to do. You want to make some quick money, right? Those are going to be the ones to look out for. But yeah, those bigger ones, they've got the capacity, they've got the servers, they're going to end up running their own. That's it. I'm going to jump out, guys. I'm running the meeting, so that's why I stole the last 2 minutes there too. So thanks.
Hey, brother.
Appreciate you.
Touching.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, touching on BMNR, it's really funny that he said that. We had a short day Thursday and nothing to do Friday, as far as I'm concerned. So of course I'm going to take advantage of post market. Like, let me see if I can trade something in post market. I know BMNR has been running crazy all day. Let me see if I can catch something in post market. There's no volume anywhere except for there. So I bought 3 shares. It was all the unsettled cash that I had left in my account. All the settled cash I had left in my account, and I ended up making like $75 in like 20 minutes on 3 shares on BMNR. I was like, I am out. I was like, I'm not testing these waters much longer. I sold. Dude, I went to look back at it like a minute later and it had just started tanking.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, wow, glad I got out. I'm sure it went back up, but
yeah,
it got halted. It got halted on the way down and I stopped looking. Anyway, sorry, Fridge.
No. So
MSTY
go ahead, Rosie.
Pretty close. No, I was gonna say MSTY getting real close to one of my buy zones. By the way,
Man, don't I know it?
I've been waiting to buy like right at $20 or a little bit below 20. If it ever drops below 20, I'm gonna grab a lot of it.
I will tell you, Royalty, I love waking up on the dividend payday. It's just such a beautiful thing, man. Hey, a lot of people like the free shares. Me, I like the free cash. I think that I can make my money work harder for me than just getting the free shares. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I like to do it. But it's a nice feeling, man.
Yeah,
And sure, it fluctuates.
It's sitting at
I was
about
just going to say it fluctuates
right now.
But yeah, see, and you're looking for about 20 flat, right?
I want 20 flat. I like my stuff on discount.
Right. That's what I was saying. I was saying to my brother-in-law last night, the hedge fund dude. I was like, I'm not like most retail. I don't just go in and buy at all-time highs. I wait for discounts, man. Like, that's how I make my money. I look for deals.
Yeah. So Newfish. So Chad brought this up in the chat also, and he was like reading my mind. I feel like in a way. Do you find it interesting? I don't know how much. I know you're really invested and you're very knowledgeable with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's up like 17.
Knowledgeable. I'm
Newfish. Hey, all right, hey. So Bitcoin's up 17% year to date. Ethereum's down 23% year to date. Do you have any insight, or anybody here have any insight as to why do we think Ethereum's down 23%? Because usually when Bitcoin would run, I remember this like a couple years ago, when Bitcoin ran, Ethereum ran. Usually, like Ethereum's up at 4,000 at one point, now it's at 2,400. How much do you guys know about Ethereum? Do you think it's primed to run at some point and have a next leg up like Bitcoin has been doing for a while? Or do you think everybody's now switching over to just Bitcoin because it's the main name? I don't know if anybody has any insight on that or not.
So this is the way that I operate, right? I look for where I can make money, and that's where I focus my sites.
Yeah.
For me, that cryptocurrency is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is it's gonna be the one this year. So that's what I'm paying attention to. I don't have a lot of experience in the crypto space. That being said, the people that I talk to that like not the people on After Hour that I talk to, but the people in my private life that I talk to in a business manner, they're all thinking that Ethereum is going to be very big within the coming years. So I don't really have a position on it. But I would say if you like Ethereum, you might as well stock up.
Okay.
You never know. I mean, you guys, there was a time somebody paid 10 Bitcoins for a friggin' pizza.
Right.
Right.
Can y'all hear me?
Go ahead, Royal. Yes, we can, Royal.
Okay. Well, no, you go ahead, bro. I just got charts up, but go ahead with yours.
No, yeah. I just think in terms of Ethereum, I think for long term, I don't see any problem with throwing some money in Ethereum. Personally, I'm not. I know crypto a little bit, not huge on it. I mean, I think Bitcoin, like Fish said, is biggest opportunity currently. I think long term Ethereum could run.
Okay, interesting.
Smart contracts, all that stuff. I mean, it's very versatile compared to Bitcoin, which is just kind of, as people talk about crypto gold, but Ethereum with the smart contracts and all that stuff.
Karunga, since you know a little bit about this, the way that it's been told to me, and I don't know enough to bring it up on my own. That's why I didn't. But the way it's been told to me is that it will make it'll make payment systems like exponentially faster and cheaper. Is that correct?
I don't know much about that, but I mean, it could. I mean, there's a chance, especially if they. I mean, a big problem with them is their gas fees are high. So if they continue to lower those, I think it could be a cheap, payment system for sure.
Okay.
Because people talk about we talk about Ethereum, and we also talk about Solana is the alternate to Ethereum. I'm just okay, and Solana had a much more better run recently, I think, than Ethereum did, if I'm not mistaken, at least
you're correct
for the year. It's at least it's had a huge run up now. Now it's over. It was like 200 at one point. Now it's down to 150 something. But now it's people talk about how Solana is the alternate to Ethereum in terms of lower gas fees and higher transactions. So that's why I was maybe what's going on is that there's more cryptos that are becoming more versatile for transactions, for cheaper than Ethereum, and that's why Ethereum maybe hasn't had as much of a leg up, because it's just like when you go to Walmart, you get great value brand cereal or name brand cereal. They're both cereal, and people like the great value one more than the name brand one. Maybe that's what it is in the crypto space. I'm not really quite sure, honestly, So, yeah. So Swing says that Solana is faster and cheaper. So is Solana now the great value Walmart brand where it's cheaper and it's better, and people aren't going to Ethereum. Now they're going to be looking for alternate uses that are cheaper for them to use. I don't know if that's the right comparison to make, but I love foods. That's why I went to that one first, but I don't know if that's what it could possibly be.
I don't know enough about it. But I do have
Solana,
a question.
I mean, I feel like it's a bit of a meme coin personally, but I don't, I'm not an expert here. So
right.
So I'm going to jump in real quick and hope my internet lasts. But Solana got a big run up during the Trump and Milana coin stuff because those were based on Solana-based tokens. So that was a big part of it. It's really easy. I can create a meme coin on Solana in 45 minutes. I think you can do it with AI in a half an hour. It's just easy to do. Ethereum is a little bit more sophisticated as far as its smart contracts and stuff like that. You guys gave me a post idea, so I'll do a write-up on it. But I was part of the pre-sale a long time ago. So
interesting.
Hey, I just want to touch on something real quick. I think you said Bitcoin was up 17% over a year.
Year to date. Sorry, year to date. So from January till now, not a whole year period.
Okay, because so even and no offense, but it's my baby. All right.
Yeah.
So that number, according to what I'm seeing on Robinhood, is not correct. Since January 1, 2025, according to Robinhood, Bitcoin is up 37.7 thousand, which equates to 66.6% year to date.
Let me see.
I'm looking at the Robinhood right now. Sorry, I'm just. It's
no, it's okay. I was going off of just. I went on. Like I said, I went on and just kind of looked it up.
It's my baby. Sorry, dude. It's literally 98% of my portfolio. So I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm good, dude. I mean, again, I just looked up I looked up and I was like, oh, how much Bitcoin was there for year to date return or something like that. Yeah. So whatever it is,
one year for Bitcoin is almost 93%. 1 year for, 1 year for Solana is 13 and a quarter. And then let me go down. Let's see here. Ethereum. 1 year for Ethereum is minus 13 and three quarters.
Yeah, so it's so bizarre how it's like I remember like years ago, like I used to watch like usually Bitcoin and Ethereum would run together, and now it's like Bitcoin just keeps running up and getting higher prices, and Ethereum's just kind of just lagging behind.
Yeah, but this might be I'm honestly thinking this might be a decent buy zone. I mean, I don't know enough about Ethereum. I should probably look into it, but maybe this is a good buy zone. I'll have to look at the charts on this.
You know, I was considering it too. So yeah, I feel. I mean, if you think about like Bitcoin's at 100 something, you know, for it to 10 times, that's a lot of time. Whereas 2,000 to 10 times, it's still going to take time, but $20,000 is not out of reach. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, it hit 4,000 like like a couple years ago. So if you can get to 4,000, right now it's at 2,500. You're looking at what, like probably like I don't know, the math is like 50, like 6% return, whatever the return is on that one. I'm not sure, but you're looking at Ethereum to go from 2,500 to 4,000 is a little over 50% return there. But if you want a Bitcoin return in the short future, not the long-term future fish, okay? Short-term, 50% return in Bitcoin, you're looking at a $150,000 price point, which definitely is possible. But Ethereum's already hit 4,000 before, which maybe you can kind of make that way back up there again. It might be more likely for Ethereum short-term to get that kind of return compared to Bitcoin short term. I don't know the lighting on that as much, but it's always a good possibility.
All speculation, man.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, all of it is speculation.
Exactly.
Right. I don't know enough about Ethereum to honestly answer that. I really don't. But what I do know is that Bitcoin is ready. And if you look at the charts, Bitcoin is proven.
Mm-hmm.
As far as an investment is concerned. Sorry, and now I'll be quiet.
No, I think they're the king of crypto. I mean, there's nothing wrong with buying Bitcoin. But I will say with Ethereum, since they're proof of stake now instead of proof of work, which Bitcoin is, you do get staking revenue, which is a bonus.
That is true. You get a nice little interest rate on that as well, which is definitely nice. When Bitcoin doesn't have that for sure.
No.
But I think also what's interesting is that like kind of like how like Newfish is saying is that like you guys are saying like it's the king of crypto, right? There's movies now that reference Bitcoin, and I've watched it. Right. And I've watched a movie that references Bitcoin. They're like, hey, like if it's some kind of heist or some kind of money laundering, like some kind of act going on in the movie, they'll say, give me your crypto wallet. I'm going to send it to you in whatever, in BTC or whatever it is. I'm like, oh my God. Like now they're referencing Bitcoin in movies that are pretty popular. You don't hear the name Ethereum, obviously, because they're not going to know that as much. But like everybody, like Bitcoin is a common like name now to hear, where it's like I have students even talk about Bitcoin. I'm like, you guys don't even know the first thing about Bitcoin. You can barely even solve an algebraic equation. Like, let's relax here, okay? Like calm down. But like even the younger students are talking about Bitcoin, not Ethereum, just Bitcoin. That's it.
So that means also that when they want to buy. So I have a friend that has 3 kids, right? One of the kids, he was buying a little bit of stock here and there with whatever little bit of money that he got. Her kids are in middle school now, right? And so he had it in some little online account that they had to let him set up, and he was buying little bits of stocks, right? He's buying fractional shares. Yep. A couple of years later, he goes and looks at it, and it's worth like hundreds of dollars more than he had put into it. So I'm thinking it's going to be the same thing pretty soon with kids, but with Bitcoin. These kids are just going to start buying fractional Bitcoin. They're going to start buying Satoshis and just, stacking sats.
Or they'll just do it as be able to walk around with whoever has the bigger chest kind of thing. Like, oh, look at me. I got my 0.000001 Bitcoin or something like that,
If that happens, oh my God. Come on. There goes lunch money for everyone.
Does anybody keep up with XRP?
I was thinking about that too, because I was talking about XRP too, also as a potential.
Yeah, I actually, since you asked it, I mean, I have XLM, which I own a few of those. Like I put in some money a while ago in that, but I was talking to someone on July 3rd, and he was all about XRP, saying that he thinks that it's going to become the international like banking coin that people use to send international payments in seconds. So that it could jump up a lot from where it's at now, because if it gets adopted by institutions, it's going to be huge.
This chart look real good
So
on XRP.
I've got somebody that I talked to that has already jumped in and out of XRP and made a ton of money. They got in like right at the beginning, and dude used to be in the finance sector, worked internationally, and he was telling me the same thing. He was like, "Yeah, it's going to happen. It's just going to be a while, and I don't want to stay in for the whole ride." But he was saying, "Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying."
This guy bought in at like 50 cents. It jumped to 350. He said he got out and then just reinvested some profits. So he's in it, but the same thing you kind of said. He took the profit early.
Yeah.
Sure, but yeah.
I mean, how could you not? It's 7x return. How could you not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, dude, come on. At that point, you're stupid to stay in.
Yeah.
Someone said XRP has an ETF. That's interesting.
I think they came out with that, and then also there's still some lawsuits looming that I think is keeping the price down. So once those get resolved, which they probably will, it should help the price.
So regarding that, I had read that those lawsuits are supposed to be thrown out by the SEC.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, exactly. So I really wouldn't worry about that. We have a crypto-friendly administration and a crypto-friendly SEC currently.
Yes,
right. I mean, I'm only talking about current markets. I'm not a long-term investor. I'm not talking 10 years down the road.
Right.
It looks good to get back to
it's very
340.
Okay.
See, there you go.
Well, might have to buy some.
240, you jump in, you sell 350 or more, dude. That sounds like a great trade to me.
I think with
like
crypto,
what,
it's just that's about that. Yeah, but I think crypto is just like stocks. Just diversify. If if you're into some different tokenomics, read about them and diversify. That's what's important there, because one of them is going to take off.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's like a conversation that I think Newfish and I had a while ago, like the last time I think we did a live stream, which was I don't know how long ago it was at this point, but it was one of those things where it was just like I have people at work who were just like, I'm not getting into crypto. It's too much of a gamble. But then he goes out and gambles on the weekends. And I'm just like, you gamble on the weekends, but you don't want to invest into crypto. Like, I don't understand what your connection is there, because crypto to me has more of a chance of getting a better return on your money overall if you're doing the right ones, compared to just betting on the Dodgers to win and they lose because of some BS that happens and you're out all your money. Like, I don't understand like the logic to that one. And I was like, having the exposure to crypto, yeah. Don't put, if you want to full port it like Newfish, feel free to. Hey, that's cool if you want to. But like, having 5-10% allocation, there's nothing wrong with having an allocation to it. And if it goes bottom up, then it goes bottom up. But it's not a bad thing to have on the sidelines, Yeah.
No, I think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No,
please.
To Fridge's point. I mean, no problem, Fish. If you want to go full port, I mean, I think that to have about 10% of your portfolio in crypto is not a bad idea. Any exposure is going to help you probably.
So thank you so much for saying that, because what I was going to say is everyone needs to understand. Like, you guys really need to understand that I am colloquially known as a whack job, dude. Like, I have a high risk tolerance. I'm a high risk, high reward trader. And so, like, when I say 98% of my portfolio there is there in Bitcoin proxies, and you guys say full port, to me, I go, it's not full port, man. There's still 2%. Like, no, okay, yeah, I guess it is a full port, But I mean, that's just the way that my mind works, right? But like, yeah, I'm a high risk, high reward trader. That's the way that I operate, But my returns say that I'm doing something right. But also, I manage my port constantly every day. I don't just, my port is not a set it and forget it. So that's a big part of it that everyone needs to know.
But the thing is that I like about how you do it, New Fish, is that like you're not someone who just like woke up one day and was like, I'm putting 98% of my portfolio into Bitcoin. Like you seem like somebody who, and you, it sounds like from all the interactions we've had, you are someone who takes time to do the research, the due diligence, and you go thoroughly into every single thing where you know so much under the sun about what it stands for and what it's worth. And that is what has made you be successful with it. And to me, like just like any trader, like if I wanted to full pour my crap into, you know, Apple stock for whatever reason, if I did months and months of research, years of research even, then and I have the conviction, like it's not full port like gambling. It's no, I did my research and I went through every single thing possible to then make this conviction to then invest into this company. You're doing the same thing. You are doing all the research, all the fundamental analysis, every single thing possible. So to me, full port actually isn't a good word for it, because full port to me comes off as more of like you're gambling it, but like you're not.
It does, yeah. It sounds so degen.
You are not degening. You are fully convicted because of all the hard work you put into it, and that is what I love about it. Is that it's not full porting. It is you are so knowledgeable about what you are invested in that like you don't need to put your money into anything else. It's like when you buy into a business, right? If you invest into a business, like you know, you might put in $200,000 to a startup company as like you know funding or whatever, and not maybe your entire portfolio, but if you have the research, you have the numbers, you have knowledge to back it up, it's not full port gambling. It's you are putting your money where your mouth is. You're doing your research, and that is what's going to make it successful for you long term, 100%.
I appreciate that, man, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I've done my due diligence. I operate differently than most people. I do my due diligence differently. Doesn't mean I didn't gain the knowledge. You know what I mean? And yes, you're right. My conviction is the reason I'm in this. This is not a gamble. This is a well-educated investment.
Just say what it is, man.
Which to me isn't a gamble then. If it's a well-educated investment, it's not a gamble then. Yeah.
Real
What's
life.
that? What's that, royalty?
Nah, I said just go ahead and tell them this is real life for you.
Yeah.
You ain't come here to play.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm here to make money. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to find the most advantageous way for me to make that in the quickest amount of time. I mean, why not? Right? That's what we're here for. Yeah, I'm high risk, but when I'm right, I'm high reward. And because I'm high risk, I got to manage every single trade that I do. And like I said, I don't do set it and forget it.
Yeah.
And that's
what I'm saying. I mean, that's how you beat the market, though. If you want to have a beat the market, you got to put in the work for it.
Well, you know, but long term also works. Let's be honest here.
Oh yeah,
no, I'm merely speaking for myself. A firm believer in long term. I mean, look, I'll use my dad as a great example, right? Back in the 80s, he tried trading. He lost every single time that he put into trading. He decided that was not meant for him. And so for the past 40 years, he's been buying into the S&P 500. Or, you know, he's been buying SPX, right? And he always buys the same amount every paycheck, except for during market crashes. And during market crashes or recessions, he always buys a little bit more because he knows markets go down, but they always come back up.
Correct.
And if they continue to go down, then everything is screwed, and the money doesn't mean anything anyways.
That's very true.
I'm surprised.
For me.
I'm surprised, Fish, you don't have any big exposures to Palunteer.
Dude, oh man. So here's the thing, guys. I can't get into Palunteer. I really can't. Talk about a trauma stock. So your boy here had Palunteer at $8. All right.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. You see where we're going. Your boy here had Palunteer at $8. All right. Got laid off from his job, was an alcoholic, and sold it. And yeah, definitely regret that sell. Let me tell you.
Yeah, but those would be one of those things though, where it's just like, like what if Palantir went to $0 though? You know what I mean? Like in hindsight, yeah, of course you should have not sold. That's like saying like, oh, I shouldn't have. I wish I didn't sell my shares from 10 plus years ago. Yeah, of course not. But what if Palantir went to zero? Then Fish, you'd be sitting here laughing and be like, yeah, I'm so glad I sold it at $8 because now it's worth like $1.50 or whatever. So,
Dude, it's like here's the thing: is like I had it at 8 and I sold it at 22. Like I made money.
Yeah,
I just didn't make $120 a share. But yeah, trauma stock.
Oh.
Well, is anybody watching oil and gas outside of me? I've been watching this breakout, and it's been moving nicely. Anybody?
Oil stocks move. Oh, is oil coming back up again?
You had a nice call out on what Exxon
Yeah,
the other day, Royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went real good on that one.
So I'm not sure what was.
I am watching gas a little bit, or oil.
Okay. I'm not sure what's moving it, but
oil futures are down though, aren't they? So I don't even know.
Futures.
I don't know I don't know either. I mean, I think that there was that big push up and then it kind of went down.
I didn't realize.
But
was open.
Oil futures are definitely down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oil futures are down. It's down 1.37 today.
Yeah.
At some point, I don't know how updated this is though, obviously, but.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know unless someone knows something that we don't know about. I have no idea.
I watched the breakout.
I mean, I haven't. Has anybody heard anything more about? So I have breakout on Exxon. So I had heard that Iran was putting underwater drones in the Strait of Hormuz. Has anyone heard anything more about that? That was last week.
That was the last I heard it. I mean, that's the first time I heard it.
I haven't heard much. Yeah, me too.
Oh wow! I guess I should have alerted that one. My bad, guys.
That's all right, dude. You can't alert every single thing, Fish. You know that, right?
Dude, I swear to God, like you guys see, like sometimes I'm alerting at like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 a.m. and I'm like, dude, you at some point, Fish, you have to stop. You're just spamming people at a certain point.
That's true.
I don't see anything new in the news about Iran or anything like that, so I don't know why we'll be doing anything.
I know I'm throwing out random topics, but
FLNC. Anybody know what ticker that is? FLNC?
Nah, I've never heard of it.
What is FLNC? I don't know. Someone asked about it. Someone said, who was it? Khaleesi. I saw a couple people mentioning FLNC. Any thoughts about it? So I don't know if I'm going to pull that up and take a look at it. I've never even heard of this ticker. No, Fluence Energy. Up 12%. Jeez, on Thursday. All right. Maybe that's why.
What?
Up 12%.
It just IPO'd.
Oh, dude, oh, interesting.
It just they got a negative. They got a PE of negative 28.46.
Oh, when I'm saying it just IPO'd. I just
sounds good.
Enough.
Yeah, IPO'd on July 1st.
52-week high, $24.
Interesting.
And a 52-week low, $346. Interesting.
Yeah. I read an article about why it soared.
Okay, so energy storage products trying to recover.
Yeah, it's trying to recover. That's
energy storage products and services and artificial intelligence. Damn. All right. So this is an entry point then. Does that sound right, Royalty?
Yeah, it's making lower lows, but right now it's coming off a lower low right now, and and trying to bounce to at least back up to like $15 from where it's at right now. So it looks like support is around mid $3 and resistance is gonna be around that $15 level.
So this could be a good swing trade right now.
Yeah, it's coming off of well they
They
got
also beat earnings though, so that's probably also why the earnings are on Monday around the 30th. No, they had earnings on the last week, the 30th, or a little over a week ago, and they beat earnings. Looks like, which could be why they started pushing up a little bit higher. Then also, maybe
Yeah, I got the chart up.
interesting.
It's pushing up in the supply right now. So, um, I mean, it kind of has like a little. It looks like it wants to push. I don't know much about the company, so I wouldn't really want to tell anybody to just jump in there.
Yeah, no, I would have to do a lot more research before getting into that one. So it has 92% institutional ownership, as Jeffrey in the chat.
I'm looking at the Robinhood chart, and it looks like the bands are starting to tighten. I won't say squeeze, but tighten.
Yeah, it's
Which means, yeah. I mean, that's. I always think. I think it's always usually. I usually use it as squeeze. Usually, they squeeze together. I use that's the word I think they usually use for Bollinger Bands. They have squeeze and they have expanding. So
yeah, like I said, it had a very sharp.
someone else said
on the 10th of February, it had a meltdown. So it looked like it's just trying to recover those losses.
yeah. Anybody else ask about anything in the chat? Let me see.
Hey, did anybody else hear anything about Costco getting sued for selling like fake stuff or something like that?
Yeah, dude, Lulu,
Fake
and you know what's
Lulu
crazy?
Lemon.
Yeah, they put a side by side comparison of Lulu's product versus Costco, and dude, it's actually pretty almost identical.
Wow.
Yeah, look at the pictures. Let me see if I can find an article on it. I read the article about it. They put a picture side by side, and it was hysterically like similar.
The weird thing about it is that like a bunch of companies do it. It's not just Costco. I don't know why Costco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I see imitation stuff all the time. I grew up looking at imitation
Exactly.
Jordans.
Yeah.
See?
There you go. Yeah, my girlfriend said that like at Sam's Club there was like a logo that like they made to look like Lulu Lemon, but it was obviously not. So
Wow.
it's Costco. Yeah. So
wow.
I wonder.
yeah, we have we don't
I wonder if that's affect Lululemon at all.
go.
I mean, I feel like it might actually. I don't know. I feel like as a lawsuit, if they win the lawsuit, I think it'll push Lulu higher because, I mean, they stand by their brand, but they lose it. I feel like a lawsuit. I don't know. Maybe it could move them either way.
They've been getting
But
demolished.
yeah, I mean, they've been getting demolished because of the tariff uncertainty and stuff like that. That's usually more why they've gotten demolished. And their earnings were like okay, but
As far as like branding and trademark infringement is concerned, it's pretty tough to win if you're the plaintiff and you're two big companies. I'll give you guys a great example here. The Washington Nationals use a curly W for their emblem, and if it's almost identical to the Walgreens W, but Walgreens switched their W after the Nationals had already trademarked their curly W. So the Washington Nationals took Walgreens to court for trademark infringement, and Walgreens actually won. The judge said that it was just a slight enough of a difference of a curl that it was a totally different brand. So, like, I don't know if it was Perunga or Fridge saying, but yeah, or maybe it was royalty. The lawsuit can go either way. It really depends a lot on the judge.
Yeah. So I put an article in our chat about if you want to take a look at like the side by sides as to what they have. There's quite a few images you want to take a look and see. Yeah, they have Lulu Lemon versus Kirkland's. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting to see how far that actually goes.
I'm looking at SCE. I've been having low. If you just joining in, I've been having low mic issues, so it might be in and out. But I'm looking at ESE for Jeffrey. Yeah, it could have moved higher. So right now it's pretty much approaching a resistance level. So as of right now, watch for the resistance around here. Watch for the resistance up here around this 197 level. And if it breaks above that, then you should see a support. I mean, a flipping resistance at support, and it'll try to work its way up more. But if not, then we could see prices start to roll over, right around this area that is at right now, and then it may work its way back down, possibly back towards support that seems to be set up back down around 191. So those are my levels for ESC.
No, I do have one thing to look at, and I don't know if you want to charter. You're talking about Bitcoin and everything. I was wondering what everyone thought about BITO, since they do have a nice dividend. It's monthly. It's Bitcoin futures.
I am an investor in it.
There you go. I was thinking about buying some. Just that dividend's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm getting paid out like $160 this month, and I only have like 200 shares. So
there you go.
It's not too bad. I mean, I'm actually break even just on shares right now, and I've had them now for I think 6 or 7 months, and I've made probably $400 or $500 at least in dividends. So I'm actually up, I think, on the year so far, which has been good. And I can also sell covered calls on them too, so I get a little bit of extra premium in there too as well. So which is really, really nice.
Yeah.
So I've liked them.
I'm not in them, but I've been thinking about getting in them. I've been meaning to get in them. Just like MTP LF came up and like other things came up, but it's definitely one that I'm meaning to get into. I only hear good things about it.
It looks good around.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying some shares.
That's for my people that I trust implicitly when it comes to Bitcoin proxies.
What were you saying, Royalty? Good around 20?
Yeah, it looks good around 20 right now. And I haven't known much about it. But this would be definitely something that I'll add to the watch list and possibly to the dividend watch list also. So appreciate you for putting that out on the
Sounds
radar.
Good.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, I mean that when it first came out with the dividend so high, I was a little skeptical waiting, but a year high dividend. So
do you know off top how much is
they haven't? I mean, I've gotten a nice payout every single time. I think the highest I got was
$1. What now? Sorry.
I was saying, you know how much off top it pays like once a quarter?
It pays once a month, and like the last one was $1 per share, and it's kind of like varies between probably 50 cents to $1 per share, somewhere around there.
And what's the share price?
Like 20 something.
All right.
Now.
So it's just under or right around where MSTY is.
Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah, it's around the same price. I think my average right now is like 22 a share right now.
Okay.
For it, and again, I'm getting like 150. I think this week. I think it's the 8th. I think because the ex dividend was on the 1st.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've always enjoyed it. Again, I saw cover calls against it, and I've rolled it out once or twice if I needed to. If I got a dividend coming up, but rather than that, I want to build it up more and get more shares. But yeah, it's nice. It's good passive income for sure.
What I've noticed with MSTY. What I've noticed with MSTY, Parunga, this may this may correlate for you for entry with BTO is that the day after payout is usually the least expensive day of the month to buy.
Yeah, because
Okay, makes sense. I mean, I know obviously with XDivs, they always drop usually after the XDiv. Yeah, exactly.
Or XDiv,
Exactly.
excuse me. Yeah, XDiv, excuse me.
It's all good. So yeah, I mean, like that's why I was trying to think about it. I was thinking about doing it like now, so that because it'd be at the lowest, not the lowest, but lower.
It'd be an acceptable entry. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Look, man. I mean, we're most likely not going to time the bottom. As long as we can get in at a decent price and get out at a decent price, that's what really matters.
I hear you there.
I was
not preaching to you. I'm just trying to speak for anyone that's listening.
All right, I was checking out KOHR, and it looked like it just broke out of a triangle pattern. So it gapped out of it above 88, and now it's setting up support around like 50 levels. So right now, if Coherent Corp can continue to the upside, we probably see it retest about like $95 or so. So that'll be my next KOHR. I'm gonna go ahead and look at STX next also. UNH still got lawsuits. I didn't know there was.
Do they?
I was saying United Healthcare. They still have lawsuits.
I don't know. I haven't really heard their name much in the news recently. Believe it or not, I can see. Let me see if there's anything.
$300 mark. So, looking at ST.
I mean, people are expecting it to go up.
Oh, they're still looking at the DOJ is still looking to them for Medicare fraud. Looks like. Nothing new, but I think it's the same thing as from. I think they're still doing the lawsuit from the DOJ. It sounds like.
Ever since that CEO got killed, it hasn't been.
Yeah, and that could go on forever. You know what I mean?
Hey, Fish, did you see Chad?
Yeah, it's been a little. No. Where do I see this room at, man? I don't even see it.
Somebody said selling CSPs on MSTY ex dividend date.
Yeah, I guess you could. I mean, that's not really one of my specialties. You know what I mean? I don't really do. I know I'm bearish, but I don't really do, cash secured puts or anything like that, man. I really don't. But I mean, if you're comfortable with those, then yeah, fuck, go ahead. Be a good time to try it.
What about? I mean,
I would say paper trade it first.
That's not really my strong area either. I mean, it's probably more Perunga or Fridge.
Yeah, but sell side is just not really my thing. And also, I would say
after the XDiv.
Yeah. I would also say this, just real quick. I want to say this before you dump any money into this. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. We've already gone over that. But before you dump any money into this, you should at least paper trade it or back test it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of the CSP, I mean, Fridge was talking about before. On a red day, it's always great to open up a CSP. After the XDiv, you're more likely not to see a lower price movement. I mean, but at the same time, once again, not financial advice, and who knows. I personally try to avoid doing options with dividend stocks. Now, cash secure puts a little bit different just because it adds an extra layer of early assignment, and the premium is usually not that good. But that's me. Fridge over there is doing BTO, so he's doing it on some dividend stocks. Every time I've done dividend, I have with a covered call or a cash secure put, I've had a I wouldn't say problems, but things get called away that I didn't really expect or anticipate.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, if you know, like BTO has usually they pay out their dividend the first of the month, like first week or so of the month usually. So that's why like my strike prices for my covered calls right now, I think are after that, just in case there's any chance of assignment that I can manage it earlier if I need to and like roll it out.
Yeah.
Mine are for the 18th of July. So I got like 2 weeks out or so, and I have 22 and a half calls on it. But also at the same time, I know I'm already up on, if I get called away at 22.5, I bought my shares at 22, so I'm still up. I'll be up $100 there, plus all the dividends I got over the last 6-7 months, plus the premiums I've gotten over the last 6-7 months. I don't mind getting away at 22.5 because it's been BTO, for example, has been trading around like $22 for the longest time. Usually doesn't go. I haven't seen it hit 30. I don't think. I don't know if it's ever hit 30 or not. It may have hit 30 a little while ago. Nope. Highest was 32 after like they got listed in October of 2021, but the highest they went was up to like $30 or so. So they're kind of trading around that idea. So if I can get if I can get called away at 22.5, cool. If it gets closer to 22.5 and I'm like, you know what, maybe I could roll to 23 or to 24, something like that isn't not too bad. But like the premiums I'm getting paid out for this one actually isn't awful. My BTO ones that I sold it was 22 and a half call options that were about $20 per credit or per contract. So $20, and it was June 24th. They expire on the 18th of July. So you're looking at about 3 weeks, almost a month. So $20 for 22.5 calls, it's an extra $20 to have 200 contract or 200 shares. So $40 extra on top of the $155 in premium, plus the share price appreciation they called away. You got to think about finding out that right strike price for sure. But BTO does have a lot of like decent liquidity at least, which has been nice. True. So that way you can get a little bit more premium as a result of it. So I don't mind it for covered calls, but I don't mind getting out of this position. I know there was somebody on After Hours who I think did I think who was it that has MSTY? Newfix probably knows this more than I do. Someone did covered calls on MSTY. I think it was like 30 something. I don't know who it was. There's someone on After Hours who did it though.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. There's somebody who did it, and it was like an October or maybe August like strike or expiration day or something like that. And he was like, "Dude, if it goes up that high, then like I would have like doubled my money or something like that on just the shares alone. So I don't mind getting out of that, doubling my money in shares or something like that." So there's definitely a possibility to sell covered calls still on those kind of positions, but you gotta make sure you do what's right for you at the end of the day.
True, yeah.
Someone I can find it right now. Let me see.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about what's right for your portfolio, what's your risk tolerance, what's your growth expectation rate.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
What's your trading plan? There's a lot that goes into everything.
But
I'm gonna find out who this was.
Cash secure puts are always a great way to pick an entry price, and hey, if you're happy with getting assignment, doesn't matter what the stock is. If you're happy with MSTY and you want to get assigned at X price strike, then I'd say go for it.
Yep.
It's all about being okay with buying the shares. That's what cash secure puts.
So someone sold a $30 covered call for October 17th on MSTY.
Wonder how much premium they got.
That premium was $45 to open.
Wow.
Who else is there's someone else that did it, I thought.
Can I ask an unrelated question? Well, maybe this is not good for the live. Never mind. I'll ask you guys later.
Well,
I mean, you might as well ask it. I mean, you don't want to ask it in front of this audience.
I don't really care about the audience or not. It's super related. It's about After Hour, and so.
Okay, I get it.
I don't know if all three of you have your portfolio linked. I know definitely Fish does, and definitely Roy does.
Oh yeah. No, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't have mine linked.
So should we ask about it now, or should I just wait till later?
I mean, You can ask about it later, because I mean, I don't. I have my personal reasons.
Dude, where is this? I'm trying to look for this post though.
Some people
I
feel
do not
some
want to
people
do
say
it.
it's
So, and
racist.
everyone, I'm getting all these people like, well, we don't believe you. It's like, well, dude, I'm showing you screenshots from my broker.
I'm gonna jump in on this one real quick, if that's cool.
Go ahead, man.
First of
If
all,
you guys are okay with it. If not, we'll wait till later. I don't mind.
well, here's my philosophy. All right, so here's the deal, man. So my port was connected. Some shit happened with that after hour coin rug
Right,
pull
right.
bullshit. I disconnected
same
my
thing.
port. I disconnected my port. People tried pulling that bullshit with me, right? And I was like, you don't believe me? Cool. Guess what? I'm not here to prove myself to anybody. You don't. Am I financially advising you? No.
Right.
Cool. Do I manage your portfolio? No. Awesome. I really don't care what you think of me. It does not matter, dude. The
Yeah,
problem.
I'm there too.
One of the problem with after hour. One of the problem with after hour is it is definitely not the same as it was 10 months ago. There's been a large influx from Reddit, and there's becoming a lot of that entitlement attitude. And so, unfortunately, because of that, some of us have to take a harder stance on on where we stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so dude,
Aren't you?
you're a good trader. You don't need to prove yourself to anybody, and if you don't feel comfortable connecting your portfolio, guess what? That is your personal decision, and anyone else can just kiss your ass.
Well, I thank you there. I definitely agree.
You got a point.
And yeah, I mean, like I said to I think Ferrari Fund, or not Ferrari Fund, it was someone else, but it was like, if this was Instagram, would you show your portfolio? And most of them were like, no. So, okay, well, this isn't any different than Instagram. It's just that it's related to trading, you know?
Right. I mean, you have the plaid system, which is supposed to know that things can get hacked. We all know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a personal preference, man. Do you like your steak rare or well done? You know,
There we go.
You know how trying to like
fucking
it.
choice.
I like it.
You're still
still
sitting at the table eating dinner, and that's what matters.
There we go.
It's like trying to like steak.
You know how
Like a
you
motherfucking hockey puck. I told him next time I'm in New York, I'm taking him to Smith and Walensky's. I'm taking him to a nice steakhouse. I'm going to get him a good steak, and I'm going to teach him to have it the right way.
There you
Nice.
go. Yeah, well done's not a way to have steak, but you know, that's not. Yeah.
I've looked at like.
Anyways,
I've looked at after hours more of just like you know, as I've used my social username and profile and stuff like that as more of educational things, not even more about like what I'm, you know, how much money I have, how much money my portfolio is, how much is this, how much is that kind of thing. You know, I've done it more just for educational awareness of like, hey, here's some options trading strategies people do. Hey, here's this to look at. Oh, look at this cool article from, you know, Bloomberg or whatever. Like, I've turned mine more into I'm not here to shout out trades and to do trade alerts, stuff like that. I'm more of just to bring the knowledge, you know, and you can take the knowledge and you can do it however you want with it. You want to read it? Cool. You don't want to read it? That's fine too. Like, it's no big deal for me either way, but I've used that platform more for informational posts and a lot less of like trade alert, buying SPY here. Also for me personally, you know, if I'm just this kind of person where I would feel bad if like I made a call out and someone lost money because of me, I would feel awful about it still, you know, because I'm just that person, you know. So I'm more just being like, here's all the, you know, it's that phrase of, you know, you can lead a horse to water, can't make it drink. Here's all the information I can give to you about what I've learned about options trading, selling, buying, this strategy, this is an article coming about this, economic data here, there, everywhere, whatever. You can take it however you want and use it to help build your trade strategy up to whatever it is you want. That's how I've looked at my social media presence on after hours and on like Instagram and YouTube, right? Like YouTube, the same thing. You could see my portfolio is on YouTube. So people that are on after hours are just like, well, I don't see a portfolio. Well, if you watch my YouTube videos, every single video has my YouTube in there or has my portfolio attached. My Robinhood live stream. Here's my account. Here's me scrolling around, but this is my account if you really want to look at it that way. But it's more of just for educational information for me. I love teaching. I like to do educating and stuff like that. That's what I do it for. I don't do it for call outs and trade alerts. So if you follow me for trade alerts, you're going to get like one a year. maybe.
Right.
You're gonna lose $30. Then you're gonna not want to do it again. So it's like, what's the point? So that's how I was looking at mine. Like I don't see a point in linking it for that reason. For me personally.
Yeah, I feel you. I definitely am more of I'd rather educate there than alert out there for sure.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
if y'all can hear
So,
me,
I like the analogy of your preference, so to speak.
it's hard
yeah, we
to.
can hear you, Royalty.
I was gonna say it's hard to signal on after hours, and I did it for a while. Like I said, I dealt with the show your poor stuff. Where I'm from, you don't tell everybody how much money you sitting on. You feel me? So that's just me. But on the most part,
Exactly.
um, I did the alert stuff, and then when I kind of moved more so toward like Discord and like the people that's actually want to be around the space that I'm in, I started to care more about managing their entries and exits more so than trying to manage the 100 or 20 people or whoever, how many people enter when I make that signal. It's harder trying to help manage their trades than it is manage the people who are
Right.
trading with me every day. So you got people asking like, when do I cut? When do I take profit? Can I still get in now? And it's just too much to manage on after hours. So
Right. Too many questions.
it's just hard. So like I
I
like I
feel you.
do
I
now.
feel you. I mean,
I
even
Yep.
Discord's hard enough. So
Yeah, I just started doing analysis and giving my points and sell points like that, and let people do their own research and go from there. So you're doing all right. You're doing the right thing, bro.
there you go. There you go.
Man. Well, we didn't held them for
Yeah.
almost 2 hours.
Thank you.
Um, and of course my mic going in and out. So I think we still was able to cover a lot of good stuff. You guys were able to feed a lot of good information out and everything. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to wrap it up until next Sunday. And no telling how many other people from the kingdom we're gonna have next Sunday. So um, once again, I appreciate everybody for joining us this afternoon, tapping in with us, listening in to these brilliant minds that share the stage with me tonight. Fridge Financials, New Fish Big Pun, Perunga, and M Finance, which he's not here right now, but we appreciate you for hanging out. Any last, closing remarks you guys want to give to anybody that's still listening or that's gonna watch this video, in preparation to get them ready mentally for the market for next week? Y'all want to say anything?
I'll say this: even though we're at all-time highs, um, don't be scared. Make sure you manage your trades, but don't be scared. Historically, you make more money buying at all-time highs than buying at all-time lows.
Mm.
I think that was good.
There you go. My thing is same way. If you're putting money into the market, definitely, um, make sure you do your due diligence. I don't know if a lot of you guys seen my post yesterday on After Hours, but I posted about analysis paralysis and how sometimes too much information can cause a mental overload, which also causes you to make mistakes or not make any moves at all. So that's something that I think a lot of people need to focus on is simplifying or finding a foundation to your trades. Even if you're learning from somebody or with the community, um, I mean, I know it's a lot of information that's flowing around. Sometimes it's best if you just stick to one or two people or a group of people to build up your trades, your technical analysis, your learning process. Give it time to develop before you keep moving on to the next time. You want to get a set system set to make your trades so that way um, you have consistency in what makes you trade and what makes you take profit. So you don't want to have that overload of information going into some of your trades because a lot of us say, oh, I should have bought in here, or I should have bought in there, and it was just too many options that was influencing your decision making. So that's something that I just wanted to shout out and give you as a gem going into next week. You know, find your foundation in the market on your trades and then just go from there. You have to trust yourself. You have to build some conviction. That's the only way to grow. and that's the only way that you'll actually start trusting in yourself over other people to give you solid trades. The trading advice is dope, but what matters most is what do you see that can convince you to take the trade outside of just seeing your favorite trader or analyst or somebody throw a trade out there. So that's my little piece of advice. Like I said, we appreciate everybody for rapping in here. If you want to tap in, you can check out my Patreon. That's the link to the Discord. Also, you can check Parunga's after hours bio. He has a link there also. So tap in either one of those places. We're definitely building the Kingdom U. That's gonna be the next game changer that's coming up. So, like I said, be ready to get tapped in with that next month. So we gonna have that lift off, and we building traders. So, shout out to everybody in the Kingdom. Shout out to everybody that look. Shout out to everybody that gets down with us in after hours. Tap in with us, bro, and we'll catch y'all next week. All right, we out.